O Pioneers, Chapter 3, Part 3. By this time Emil had lost all his timidity. He thought a cave a very superior kind of house. There was something pleasantly unusual about it and about Ivar. "Do the birds know you will be kind to them, Ivar? Is that why so many come?" he asked. Ivar sat down on the floor and tucked his feet under him. "See, little brother, they have come from a long way, and they are very tired. From up there, where they are flying, our country looks dark and flat. They must have water to drink and to bathe in before they can go on with their journey. They look this way and that, and far below them they see something shining, like a piece of glass set in the dark earth. That is my pond. They come to it and are not disturbed. Maybe I sprinkle a little corn. They tell the other birds, and next year more come this way. They have their roads up there, as we have down here." Emil rubbed his knees thoughtfully. "And is that true, Ivar, about the head ducks falling back when they are tired and the hind ones taking their place?" "Yes, the point of the wedge gets the worst of it. They cut the wind. They can only stand it there a little while, half an hour maybe. Then they fall back and the wedge splits a little, while the rear ones come up the middle to the front. Then it closes up and they go on with a new edge. They are always changing like that up in the air, never any confusion, just like the soldiers who have been drilled." Alexandra had selected her hammock by the time the boys came up from the pond. They would not come in, but sat in the shade of the bank outside while Alexandra and Ivar talked about the birds and about his housekeeping and why he never ate meat, fresh or salt. Alexandra was sitting on one of the wooden chairs, her arms resting on the table. Ivar was sitting on the floor at her feet. "Ivar," she said suddenly, beginning to trace the pattern on the oilcloth with her forefinger, "I came today more because I wanted to talk to you than because I wanted to buy a hammock." "Yes?" The old man scraped his bare feet on the plank floor. "We have a bunch of hogs, Ivar. I wouldn't sell in the spring when everybody advised me to, and now so many people are losing their hogs that I am frightened. What can be done?" Ivar's little eyes began to shine. They lost their vagueness. "You feed them swill and such stuff? Of course. And sour milk? Oh, yes. And keep them in a stinking pen? I tell you, sister, the hogs of this country are put upon. They become unclean, like the hogs in the Bible. If you kept your chickens like that, what would happen? You have a little sorghum patch, maybe, put a fence around it, and turn the hogs in. Build a shed to give them shade, a thatch on poles. Let the boys haul water to them in barrels, clean water and plenty. Get them off the old stinking ground, and do not let them go back there until winter. Give them only grain and clean feed, such as you would give horses or cattle. Hogs do not like to be filthy." The boys outside the door had been listening. Lou nudged his brother. "Come, the horses are done eating. Let's hitch up and get out of here. He'll fill her full of notions. She'll be for having the pigs sleep with us next." Oscar grunted and got up. Carl, who could not understand what Ivar said, saw the two boys were displeased. They did not mind hard work, but they hated experiments and could never see the use of taking pains. Even Lou, who was more elastic than his older brother, disliked to do anything different from their neighbors. He felt that it made them conspicuous and gave people a chance to talk about them. Once they were on the homeward road, the boys forgot their ill humor and joked about Ivar and his birds. Alexandra did not propose any reforms in the care of the pigs, and they hoped she had forgotten Ivar's talk. They agreed that he was crazier than ever and would never be able to prove up on his land because he worked it so little. Alexandra privately resolved that she would have a talk with Ivar about this and stir him up. The boys persuaded Carl to stay for supper and go swimming in the pasture pond after dark. That evening, after she had washed the supper dishes, Alexandra sat down on the kitchen doorstep while her mother was mixing the bread. It was a still, deep-breathing summer night, full of the smell of the hayfields. Sounds of laughter and splashing came up from the pasture, and when the moon rose rapidly above the bare rim of the prairie, the pond glittered like polished metal, and she could see the flash of white bodies as the boys ran about the edge or jumped into the water. Alexandra watched the shimmering pool dreamily, but eventually her eyes went back to the sorghum patch south of the barn where she was planning to make her new pig corral.